Hey guys, this is Indo. He is my pied Mexican spiny tail iguana. He is my male, and he is very gray right now. Usually he's got a black color to him, but because his lights were off, he's cooled down. So when he's cooled down, he's this color. When he's fired up, he is black. We can ignore my hair, right? Because I had a shower and it didn't turn out too great after I showered. It got all poofy. Besides the point, this isn't a hair channel. This is a reptile channel. We don't give a crap about my hair. Anyway, I have lots of things to show you. Mainly GHI. What is GHI? What is the meaning of GHI? What are the genetics behind GHI? Well, I'm about to get into it and, well, let's just dive in. So, GHI is a codominant, or rather incomplete dominant gene. It means gotta have it. And I took that very literally. I love the dark that it brings to genes. I love the highlights that it brings to genes. That was my iguana. I love what it does with Ghost and Desert Ghost. I love the super form. Now, I was asked if a GHI is an incomplete dominant. When you put GHI to GHI, does that make a dominant? No. So, a dominant would be like a spider or a pinstripe where it doesn't have a visual super. A GHI has a visual super. So, it would be just an incomplete dominant. Some people call it codom. Technical term. I recommend that everybody, that means you, to get a GHI animal. I can't help myself. I recommend Womas and I recommend GHI. It is what it is. I am who I am. Am I ever gonna change? No. And don't even hold your breath, because no. Yep, I don't know where I'm going with this clip, but I might still add it. This is a single gene GHI, and she is a very good example for her morph. She doesn't have a whole lot of crazy saddles, so that part I can show you in different animals that I have here. So this is a signature GHI marking right there. Same with up here. It's very wonky, very connected usually. So like the back pattern to the side pattern is mostly connected, almost like a wonky saddle. Like what I call this would be a wonky side saddle, and then this one is almost a full saddle. Another thing I'm looking for is color. So a normal ball python will have more of a brown color, whereas these guys have a very beautiful blushed gold reddish color. It's very hard to explain. Think of it like sun-bleached rust. I know that is not a thing, but that is the best way to describe the coloration of these guys. Like the most accurate color that my camera is picking up is probably like right here. She is just amazing. This is a pastel vanilla GHI in heavy shed. Now, because she's in shed, this actually kind of accurately represents pastel GHI really well, so can we just pretend that there's no vanilla in her right now? So here is a great example of GHI markings. All these connecting saddles, wonky saddles as they call them, that is GHI. This is GHI. This is GHI. This is GHI. And on the sides, they have a lot of granite. A lot of murkiness on some of the sides. This girl is incredible. I've had her. This is actually my first GHI animal. Fun fact. Her name is Roulette. She is just such a sweetheart. Yeah, that is a pastel vanilla GHI, but like I said, she's in shed, so she kind of just looks like a pastel GHI here. Snake, and we add another dose of pastel. we have a Super Pastel GHI. Again, this girl is amazing, an amazing example for the GHI, not only color, but banding again. Here's the wonky saddles all over her yet again. Telltale sign of GHI. See all that? All the banding? They're wonky. That looks like a frog! Can't tell me otherwise. I'm convinced. Frog. Okay, hey sweet girl. So, this girl is getting to be quite big now. She'll probably be in, if not next year, the following year's breeding. Yes, we will. Her name is Tiger Lily, and her coloring has not faded whatsoever as she grows. I think that she is a very nice quality Super Pastel GHI. I could be biased, very well could be biased, but I think she is super nice. GHI really likes to bring out in certain animals is a steel bluish gray. This right here, while the blushing is helped by the pastel and the Super Pastel, that gray color certainly comes from GHI. And I don't have an example of a GHI hypo, but if you Google GHI lesser hypo or GHI Mojave hypo, you will see the gray of those animals. Certainly where she is getting all that from.
What makes GHI so great? Let me tell you. GHI can be put to so many genes. No matter if you like light or dark, it does tend to stay more dark, but it can be lightened. There is hope for you people who like the light. However, I really like it because the pattern can be severely manipulated in a good way with a lot of like bell genes like Mojave or lesser and stuff like that. But it can also be really busy if you put yellow belly or, I haven't seen a GHI puzzle, but I can imagine that it'd be pretty great. There's just, it's endless. You can make it brighter with Desert Ghost. You can make it darker with Cinnamon. It's just, I like the potential and how different it is and how variable it can be. I think that's why I have such a fondness for it. Plus, I really like
GHI when we take away the wonky saddles. This is very simple for me, but I understand how it can be confusing for some. So if you notice back on the backs of the animals with the saddles, they still had very wonky markings like this and like this. They're almost like bones or like feet prints, as my daughter calls them. Little footprints along their back. Now, like I said earlier, when GHI is mixed with a bell gene like Mojave or lesser, they tend to get very reduced along the sides, but they normally keep a lot of blushing along the sides. She's gonna strike at me. Don't. Be nice. As you can see, all the blushing along the side of her. This girl looks like she's going into shed. She's usually a little bit darker. So basically what it's telling me, that is GHI right here. There's not a whole lot of other genes that do the dashing along the back like this, unless it's like in the freeway projects or the highway projects. But I don't think this looks like any type of highway or freeway to me. So that's kind of like, if I were to see something like this, I'd be like, oh, automatically GHI, because there's no other that has like the little feet prints. They started dragging their feet here, it got lazy. Look at that, that's like a perfect footprint. All the dark stuff that GHI can do, why don't we see some of the light stuff? Okay, so this is just a simple banana GHI female, and the blushing on her is incredible. You can thank GHI for that. Again, wonky saddles. Look at, there's like an anchor there. And see what I mean about how there's the wonky dashing along the spine still? We're just taking away the sides. We're reducing the sides when we add something like a bell complex animal. GHI messes with the pattern quite a bit. That's why I like it. I mean, look at this. This is GHI, and the animal I just showed is GHI. You're very, very scared today. It's okay. And the other animal is GHI, and they're so vastly different, not only in color. I mean, obviously this one's banana, so I'll give it that. But in pattern, that's drastic. So I can really go, if you like low patterns, GHI Mojave. If you like high patterns, GHI Super Pastel. Like, you can go either way with it. If you like lighter stuff, GHI Banana, GHI Super Pastel, you know, stuff like that. If you like darker stuff, GHI Cinnamon Mojave. It's just endless. This girl, I believe to be a GHI Mojave Pastel, possibly Yellow Belly. Yellow Belly is kind of up in the air. I would like to say that she's Yellow Belly. I mean, she is super neon. The yellows on her. Again, there's the wonky bones and or footsteps. More like bones on this one. Ignore my floor, by the way. I got cocoa husk everywhere. Yes, I did. And it's kind of your fault because you're one of the noodles that I did it for. Some great examples on how you can have different colors and different palettes, but you have still the reduced pattern on the sides. So, this girl is a GHI Pastel for sure. She may be either Mystic or Mojave. I'm leaning more towards Mojave because it's just a more reduced side on her. And she's also possibly Yellow Belly. I'm thinking that this one does not have Yellow Belly and her sister does, just because her sister's dorsal is quite a bit more bold and bright, and the sides are even more blush than this, so I just have a strong indication that this is not the Yellow Belly and the other one is. Onto this beautiful girl. She is a GHI Black Pastel, and she's 66% hypo. So the Black Pastel in this instance is what really reduces the sides and causes the little C's, or half moons, on her. See, almost like, remember how I mentioned that there was an anchor before? There's another one. So they're really like, kind of like dinosaur footsteps, people footsteps, anchors / C's, half moons. They're just unique. They're just fun. I find the pattern fun. I mean, I seen a frog on the other. Breaking down these four sisters, this is what I have in my head. This one I believe to be GHI Pastel Mystic Yellow Belly. This one I believe is to be a GHI Mojave Pastel, not Yellow Belly. This one I believe is a GHI Mystic Pastel with no Yellow Belly. And this girl, just because her dorsal stripes are just so neon, like they look almost pale yellow white in the camera lens because it's just so crazy. This girl I believe is the GHI Pastel Mojave Yellow Belly. Again, this one could have Yellow Belly, this one might not. It's very hard to tell. This one I'm pretty certain doesn't have Yellow Belly, and this one I'm pretty certain does, just because like the color difference of them is pretty drastic right next to each other. Sorry, this girl's moving a lot, whereas these two, quite different. Don't push her off. That's like a whole Mufasa Scar moment there. Don't worry, I protect you, little one. So I kept these guys in the bins because 3 of 4 are very active. So I'm going to start right here. This is a GHI Mojave Enchi. Now, you might think that she looks like a GHI Mojave, which granted I could see that. Here is a GHI Mojave next to her, if that helps at all. And she brings back some of the pattern color, and it's thinner too. So you can see on this girl, it's quite thick, almost like a molar. Whereas this one, it's more like a paintbrush strip. Little dinosaur feet, print bones. Okay. So this guy, believe it or not, isn't far off of what she is. This is a GHI Lesser Enchi, 100% het hypo. He is quite drastic in color. I'm actually going to show him next to her just for the color difference. This is what I'm talking about. GHI has such variance. You like lighter stuff? This guy's pretty light. See that grayish tinge coming through on the sides? That's GHI. It really likes to throw some gray blushing into the mix. I love him. I love his very, I call it purpley brown head because in some light it actually looks purple. Actually, his head with her color is very similar. I never noticed that before. Cool. On to the next. This is just a GHI Mojave. This one's a very, very blushed side GHI Mojave. They're usually quite a bit darker than this at this age. So I have a feeling that this girl's going to be bright, very bright when she's older. A lot of blushing, sorry. Very cool brown tones to her. Hello, sweetheart. Hello. You can really see that back pod pattern has a lot of breaking in it. There's an alien head. Look. Look at it. Okay, on to the next. This girl is one of my favorites. I'm going to pick her up because I don't want to show her dirty water dish. She is a GHI Mojave Yellow Belly. Now, how do I know it's Yellow Belly? Well, here's her next to a regular GHI Mojave. Again, granted, this girl is very blushed. But do you see the yellow compared to her back stripe? It's quite intense. That's the Yellow Belly I'm talking about. Such variance just within two animals with only one gene added. It's just so much to be done with it, and I'm really excited to get, super GHIs, super GHI Ghost, super GHI Puzzle, super GHI everything. Like super Enchi, super GHI, pied. What is that going to look like? They're all so irritated with me. They're like, stop showing me off. I can't help it. You're so beautiful. Do you know how beautiful you are? Yes, you do.
Well, the verdict is in. I'm very biased to GHI. I love GHI. I'm pretty sure you've got that from the video so far. I definitely just recommend it. Like, if you really want variance and dark, possibly light in your collection, I strongly advocate for the gene. I don't think you can go wrong with it, even if you had one or two in your collection. I think they're great for most projects. That's what I'm doing with them. I think I didn't even show all my GHI animals. I believe I have 15 or 16 now. Something like that. Pretty crazy.
My outro with two very cool iguanas. One up there, and one very angry one right here. Don't be mad. Don't be mad. You're so cute. Don't bite me!